Welcome to Amaze Me Stays, where we want to make travel magical. Today I'm doing something a bit different, as I'm not usually in front of the camera for our videos. I'm usually in the background. You'll hear my voice, but that's about it. But I have so much to say on this subject, I'm just going to speak straight to the camera. So here goes. This video is all about saving big on your dream ski holiday this winter, with tips about luxury for less. In an ideal world, we'd be transported to our favourite winter destination with all our family and friends, book the best accommodation, be on the slopes every day in beautiful sunshine with fresh powder. Then we'd eat the most amazing food and have a fantastic time. Oh, and we'd never need to check out. We'd just be there as long as we wanted. How does that sound? Yeah, but here's the reality check. That probably isn't going to happen, unfortunately. The dilemma that most of us have is that we can't have it all. So we need to think about focusing on the bits of the trip that mean the most to us and getting creative about those added extras. And of course, sprinkle it with some all-important luxury because we deserve it. So let's get started. I've broken down my advice into sections to make it easier to understand and stop me from rambling. So first up is destination. Some of you will have your favourite winter destination, which is non-negotiable, and that's fine. You've made your choice, and you'll be able to make savings wherever you go. For others, you may be a bit more flexible, and so you could make savings by trying cheaper, lesser-known resorts. If you don't want to do that, then what about booking a smaller ski resort that's connected to a larger, well-known winter destination? That way, you get to ski the same well-known area, but you can make savings on cheaper accommodation. More information on that in the description below, so please check that out. Something else you might want to consider is transfer time from an airport. A 4-hour transfer time is going to be more expensive than a 1-hour transfer time, so always look at how long the journey is to and from the airport. Next up, we have travel. You can make some good savings when you do a bit of research on how you're going to get to your winter destination. Look at all your options, as you may be surprised on what it all costs and what you can save. Of course, flights are usually the most popular option, but depending on if you're in a group or travelling with family, they can really eat into your budget. Check if avoiding weekend flights can make it cheaper, and of course, that will depend on whether your accommodation provider is equally as flexible about check-in days. Do you have air miles that you can use to make savings by flying with a particular airline? Sometimes you can really save a lot by just flying the day before. Then you can arrive in resort a bit earlier so you can organise equipment and ski passes, and then you're all ready for the slopes the next day. Then look at airport transfers versus car hire. If you hire a car, then at least you have more flexibility and options to use the car during your holiday. Maybe you're happy to drive to the ski lifts, or even if you just do a food shop at the supermarket. Finally, consider driving the whole journey, or look at the train as well. These options may seem like they won't work, but you never know unless you research them, and then you can make an informed decision. So now let's talk accommodation. We need to look at when you're going to go, what kind of accommodation you're going to choose, and how long you're going to go for. Why not consider taking a slightly shorter break? Believe me, I know that's not what you want to hear, but if it's the difference between going and not going, or going to your favourite winter destination or missing out completely, then maybe opting for 5 days is worth thinking about, as it could be the difference in your trip coming in on budget or not happening at all. Consider skiing in January or March when prices are more competitive and there may even be offers on. The slopes are more quiet rather than the peak times over Christmas, New Year and the February school holidays. January offers fresh dumps of snow if you're lucky. March is usually more sunny and settled. And then, of course, you have the age-old decision of, do you go hotel, do you go catered chalet, or do you go self-catered apartment? It's a very personal choice, but briefly, a hotel would be the most expensive and the least flexible. Catered chalet is personalised luxury, but unless you have the whole chalet, you will be sharing with people you don't know. That could be a thing. It's a great way to meet people, but it's not for everyone. And then finally, self-catered accommodation probably offers the most flexibility and probably the best option for making savings. Sometimes you can also make savings if you choose accommodation that isn't right in the centre of the resort. Okay, if you want to be in the middle of everything, I understand that completely. But if it isn't an issue, and once you're back in your accommodation, you're probably in there for the night, then it's definitely something to consider. So now let's talk about equipment and clothing. For clothing, you can borrow from anyone you know, or even complete strangers, as long as they have good taste. And don't forget those second-hand shops and online options. If you want to buy new, then take a look at the many discount stores. You'll be surprised about the savings you can make for some seriously good gear. You can hire skis, boards and boots in the resort, which is a great idea, especially when you're a beginner. If you do want to invest in kit, then buy ski boots first and keep hiring your skis. Comfy ski boots are worth their weight in gold, and you can include them in your usual luggage allowance when flying. Whereas with skis and boards, they'll be calculated as luggage extras, so you may find hiring in resort is more cost effective. Plus, you don't have to worry about having your skis serviced, as they will come waxed and edged when you hire them, so that's one less thing to think about. So you can also make savings on lift passes and lessons. Lift passes are pretty complicated these days with all kinds of offers, so do your research well in advance. There can be offers for families, an extra day depending on how many days you book. Then there can be more offers depending on your age, when you're going to be there. The list goes on. Many ski areas are very large, and depending on your ability, you may not need a full area pass. You could go with a local area pass. Or you may not need a pass for the first few days as a beginner if you're on nursery slopes or on green runs. Sometimes people think, oh, I'll make savings by not having lessons. One day in a snow dome and I'll be fine. That's not an option. If you do one thing, please get tuition. Don't skimp on learning. It's the best investment you can make for your ski and boarding future. There are many ways of saving on tuition as well, so research your options before you go. If there's a group of you around the same ability, then you may be able to get a good discount. Most people want to have lessons in the morning, so if you opt for lessons in the afternoon, then they may give you a better price. Maybe you just need to brush up on your skiing or boarding, and so you might be better off having a private lesson rather than lessons all week. It will be more expensive, but you won't need as many, and they'll be tailored to you and your ability. Next, we need to talk about eating and drinking. So if you've opted for a hotel or a catered chalet, then chances are your breakfast and evening meal will be included. Often catered chalets do make cake in the afternoons for your return from the slopes, so that's worth thinking about as well. And some do savoury options too. So with these options, you know that you probably won't need to eat much lunch on the slopes if you don't want to. If you go self-catered, then you have the flexibility, so you can choose to eat out on the mountain on some days, or have a lighter evening meal in the evening, or eat a lighter lunch followed by dinner out, or make it in the apartment. If you've been to the resort before, then you'll know where you can eat to make savings, and where you can go to blow your budget. If you're visiting somewhere for the first time, then make friends with the holiday company or the chalet host so you can ask them to share their insider knowledge about the resort. The best places to eat on and off the mountain, where to buy food, and any special events that are happening during your stay that you don't want to miss. And you can do all that before, you can get in touch with these people before you actually get there so that you can have an idea of what's available before you even go. And finally, those sprinkles of luxury that we spoke about before. If you're going to go self-catered, add some luxury by having a restaurant deliver food to you, or get a private chef to cook a meal for you in your apartment. How cool is that? Then there are also options for some great wine tastings or beer tastings, and they can take place in local bars or hotels, and some will visit your chalet or apartment for a personalised experience as well. If your accommodation doesn't have spa facilities, then you could arrange a spa experience. It could be at a local hotel, or have a massage to rejuvenate those tired legs about halfway through the holiday. And then Private tuition is a great treat. We're always learning. And if you get a 2-hour lesson at the beginning of your trip, it will really boost your confidence and also show you around the mountain if you're not familiar with the resort. Or you could try something completely different from skiing or boarding, such as zip wire or dog sledding, snowshoeing or parapenting. There's lots of different activities in resorts these days other than skiing and boarding, and sometimes it's quite nice to try them. The main thing to remember is that there are many ways to make savings on a winter holiday, but all of them need you to do a bit of research and a degree of planning. That's what the cold winter nights are for, so get organised and let me know where you decide to go in the comments below. Oh, and if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. Or better still, why don't you subscribe, and then you won't miss out on any new videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.